Welcome back. This is Chris and my brother in Christ, Stephen.
Welcome back.
The date today is April 11th, Year of Our Savior 2021. And the title of this video is going to be Knights Templar. Knights Templar. And so this is basically a continuation of going back to February 15th, or that's when we recorded at the video series of 1871, which was the end of the United States for America and the beginning of the United States of America Corporation. And that corporation is abides by maritime law, and that is dealing with legal. See, legal can only apply to things that are incorporated or corporations. That's what it applies to. And that is under maritime law or admiralty law. So that was our next session, was maritime law. And then from there, maritime law, the United States of America Corporation is controlled by the Crown. And the Crown is found in the area that was formerly known as the Bank of England. And the Bank of England was changed to the Crown. The Crown, or the City of London, is the Crown. And that, of course, is controlled by the Vatican, because Queen Victoria gave up and violated her oath as a Protestant, married her first cousin, who was German and a Roman Catholic. So once again, it's returned back to the Holy See, which is the Holy See Supreme Pontiff. Find that right off the Vatican website, which is definitely the mystery school symbol of the Pontifex Maximus, the Holy See, the Supreme Pontiff, which is the See means seat, and that's the seat of Satan. And so that's what's going on. So these three cities, ultimately controlled by the Vatican, are the seat of Satan. You have the Vatican, which is its own city, country, and that is the religious. Then you have Washington, D.C., or the District of the Goddess of Columbia, also known as the United States of America, which I believe is a 10 square mile. And that is what that corporation is. And so we're all working for the United States of America, and we're all working for the Crown. And so that, and then of course we have the Bank of England, or the City of London, which is the Crown that controls the United States of America, and that is the financial district. And so we covered that, and that's why we have the court system that operates today, operates under the admiralty law and under the bar Association, which stands for the British Accredited Registry. And the attorneys work for the bankers. The court system is a banking institution. They make money off the crimes. You know, if a crime happens, the court gets the money. That's how it works. And the attorneys are registered with the bar, or British Accredited Registry. And so that's their union card. They have to pay their dues in this union. So they're really not lawyers, they're attorneys. Okay, so that's what we learned, the British Accredited Registry. So within this location, you have what was called the Crown. The Crown represents the corporate entity, right? The Crown, known as the Crown Corporation. And that is set up by the Knights Templar. That was their headquarters, where they dealt international banking system. They were the merchants, the Knights Templar. And it just happens to be that was where the Bank of England commenced from. That location, that corporation, the Crown Corporation, the City of London, as a city within the broader City of London, which is its own nation. And that was set up by the Knights Templar. And we talked about that. So we're just kind of recapping that what this is all about. The Bank of England is headquartered in the city. That's what they call it, the city. And this was the first settlement by the Romans in the 1st century AD to the Middle Ages. All right, going through here, just a recap of all of this. These are all crown corporations, right? And so the Bank of England equals the City of London Corporation, which equals the House of Rothschild. A lot of times people say, well, the Rothschild, the Jews control the world. But be honest with you, where did they learn their banking principles?
Right.
It goes back way before the Rothschilds, the Rockefellers, the Federal Reserve, right? It goes back to the Knights Templar.
Yep, sure does.
Which is a part of this mystery Babylonian system. So how did the Knights Templar get their power? Now we talked about within this city, and I'm trying to find exactly where it is, so many notes, but remember we had the courts of inn. The inns, I'm going to find this. You have the bar exam, all of this. All right, we're getting close. The Honorable Society of the King's Inn. The King's Inn. Then there were 4. There was the English Inns of Court. The English Inns of Court, which is their 4 Inns of Court, which is basically the Mecca of the British legal system. The court system, the attorney system, right there, right in the Bank of England, right in the city or the City of London that controls the United States of America or the District of the Goddess of Columbia Corporation. And we're all corporations that work for the crown, and the crown is ultimately controlled by the crown in the Vatican. And this is all supernatural, so we always look through it through the biblical lens. You're not going to understand what's going on if you do not understand it through a biblical view.
Right.
This is a biblical mindset. And we've talked about this, about the Iron Kingdom. So this is a recap, ladies and gentlemen, an introduction about the Knights Templar. So we see here that the governments and judicial systems within the United States of America at both federal and local levels is owned by the Crown, which is a private foreign power and not to be confused with the Queen of England or the royal families of Britain. This is a different crown, referencing specifically to the established Templar church known for centuries by the world as the Crown. The Crown equals the Crown Temple equals the Crown Templar, all 3 being synonymous. The Temple Church is a royal peculiar church in the City of London or Bank of England built by the Knights Templar. The Knights Templar has their English headquarters. It was consecrated February 10th, 1185 AD. That was a long time ago. 1185 AD by Patriarch Heraclius of Jerusalem. During the reign of King John, 1199 to 1216, it served as the royal treasury supported by the role of the Knights Templar as proto-international bankers. The Knights Templar were proto-international bankers. Do you know what proto means? I didn't. So guess what? If you don't understand a word, what can you do? You can look it up, right? And proto means before, first in time, beginning, giving rise to, first form, primary. So this is a very ancient system that they took control of and they established is still in operation today. All they did is change their name to Freemasonry. All right. So it is now jointly owned by the Inner Temple and Middle Temple Inns of Court. Inns of Court is referring to the court system. That is how what we've derived court system in the United States of America.
Right.
That's why if you're an attorney, you take the Bar Association. Now they've hit it, but the Bar Association also stands for the British Accredited Registry. So we see here that you have the Inns of Court, which is basis of the English legal system. So the entire English legal system is located where is the headquarters of the entire English system. It's in the Bank of England. It's in the city, the crown, and this location is the headquarters or the foundation. It was established by the Knights Templar.
It's right there in London, isn't it?
Right there in London. That's the city of London. Absolutely. Thank you for that clarification, Stephen. So that's what it is. And so the area around this is called the Temple Church. It's known as the Temple. The Temple refers to the area in the vicinity of the Temple Church. It is one of the main legal districts in London and a notable center for English law. Both historically and in the present day, it consists of the Inner Temple. The Inner Temple is the Honorable Society of the Inner Temple, is one of the 4 Inns of Court, which are professional associations for barristers and judges. So the Inner Temple, the temple comes from the Templars, based upon the temple in Jerusalem, where they drew their power with their excavating, and where they turned into Satanists, they turned into magic and sorcery, and supernaturally founded this location, which is the Mecca of English law system, which is what the United States of America is controlled by and controls the world. It's an international bar association, this location. Is that significant?
Yeah.
Big time. So it's not just something spiritual, it's physical, it's legal, it's military, it's spiritual. We battle against principalities and powers of darkness. So we have the Inner Temple is composed of the 4 Inns of Court, which is a person must belong to one of these Inns of Court to practice as a barrister in English and Wales. So if you want to be an attorney, you want to be in this legal system, guess what? You have to be participating in and linked into one of these Inns of Court, which comes from the Temple, located within the City of London, also known as the Bank of England, right? You have the Middle Temple, which is the Honorable Society of the Middle Temple, is one of the 4 Inns of Court, exclusively entitled to call to the bar their members to the English bar as barristers, and the others being the Inner Temple, Gray's Inn, and Lincoln's Inn. So we have the 4 Inns of Court are known as the Inner Temple, Gray's Inn, Lincoln's Inn, and the Middle Inn. So, okay, very complicated, but bottom line is, pick a city as a metaphor. And just imagine that is the headquarters for most of the world.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
So we can grasp the concept that the City of London, also known as the Bank of England, is the crown, and it was founded by the Knights Templar, and it is a corporation. So let's look a little bit about the background of the Knights Templar. Knights Templar, also known as Knights Templars, or Knights Templar, or just known as Templar. A member of an order of Freemasonry conferring 3 orders in the York Rite. So that is another meaning, which shows you that Freemasonry has its foundations in the Knights Templar. And we'll cover that. We're going to cover the history here. So Templar comes from the Middle English Templar, from the Anglo-French, from the medieval Latin, Templarius, from Latin templum, temple. So Templar means temple, real simple, means temple. That's what it means. And it means a knight of a religious military order established in the early 12th century in Jerusalem for the protection of pilgrims and the Holy Sepulchre. Knight Templar. Sounds really good. Hey, we're forming this order. We're here to serve the Roman Catholic Church. It's a military order. We're going to protect the crusaders. We're going to protect the travelers, the pilgrims coming to the holy city. And, that's what we're going to do. Well, that sounds really good, and maybe that's true. But there's another side to it. Because a lot of times, nefarious institutions cloak what they're really going to do. They have an exoteric, like, oh yeah, we want to cure cancer. That's why we have the American Cancer Society. But deep down, the nefarious aspect of that organization is about making money. They don't want to cure for cancer because they would lose all that money coming in. So that's kind of how a lot of times things come forth. Human beings do it all the time. Oh yeah, I'm doing this, but deep down, they have another motive. So this is what we're seeing. We're seeing this aspect of temple. Now, Knights Templar means temple. What does temple mean? Well, temple means a space marked out for the observation of auguries. So now you're getting into auguries, divination. This is all dealing with the supernatural of the priest partaking in magic. Magic is important to understand. A temple, a building for religious practice, is often capitalized either of two successive or successful national sanctuaries in ancient Jerusalem. So we're knowing that temple has these national sanctuaries in Jerusalem. That's important. And then we know a knight is a man of arms, a boy, a servant, a military follower, a mounted man at arms serving a feudal superior, especially a man ceremonially inducted into special military rank, usually after completing service as a page and squire. And it goes on and on and on. So now we have the meaning of what a Knights Templar. And so we have, Knights of Columbus is another example of what we're dealing with, right? These knights, these military Roman Catholic orders. That's important to remember. All right. So we understood about temple. Temple also refers to, and this is right out of Black's Law Dictionary. Black's Law Dictionary, temple means two English inns of court. Now, we were just describing that temple. This is right out of the Law Dictionary. Law is showing that temple means inns of court, which is the locations where you have to practice law. That's the center of English law. So, because anciently the dwelling place of the Knights Templar, on the suppression of the order, they were purchased by some professors of the common law and converted into hospitia, or inns of court. That's right out of your Black's Law Dictionary. They are called the Inner and Middle Temple in relation to Essex House, which was also a part of the House of the Templars, and called the Outer Temple because situated without the temple bar. So now we have Temple Bar, the Bar Association. This is all a banking institution. Mm-hmm. And the Bible talks about the merchants of the earth. They wax rich through the abundance of the delicacies of all of this stuff. They wax rich off the slavery of humanity. It's a legal system, but it's not a lawful system.
Right.
So the Knights Templar is also known as the poor fellow soldiers of Christ and of the Temple of Solomon, also known as the Order of Solomon's Temple. The Knights Templar, or simply the Templars, were a Roman Catholic military order founded in 1119, headquartered on the Temple Mount. So you got anything to add, Stephen?
Yeah.
Okay.
These guys, they did found that the order was founded in 1119 when 7 knights led by a French nobleman from Champagne, Hugh the Pain, swore to defend Christian pilgrims in Jerusalem in the Holy Land, and so created a brotherhood who took on monastic vows and lived together in a closed community.
Like monks.
Yeah.
Monks.
In 1120, C.E. Bolton, the second king of Jerusalem, gave the knights his palace, the former Aqsa mosque on the Temple Mount of Jerusalem to use for their headquarters. The building was commonly referred to as the Temple of Solomon. So the Brotherhood grew quickly and became known as the Order of the Knights of the Temple of Solomon, or simply the Templars. Now, the order grew in donations from supporters who recognized the important role of the protection of small Christian states in the Levant. Others, from the humblest to the rich, gave what they could simply to help to ensure a better afterlife. Because donors would be mentioned in prayer services, perhaps a better life in here and now. Donations came in all forms, but money, land, horses, military equipment, and foodstuffs were the most common. And then it comes down here. Money may have poured in from all corners, but they had high cost to meet. And the medieval banquets, regarded as safe place by locals, Templar communities or covenants became repositories for cash, jewels, and important documents. The order had their own cash reserves, which were, from as early as 1130 CE, put to good use in the form of interest-gaining loans. The Templars even permitted people to deposit money in one convent, and then, provided they could show a suitable letter transfer, and then withdraw equivalent money from a different convent.
Okay, so they're charging usury.
Yes.
So they're charging usury. The Bible prohibits usury. That's how they got filthy rich. Filthy rich.
Absolutely.
Okay, so this right there, the Temple Mount, that is a mount of the house of God. The temple in Jerusalem, known to the Muslims as the Haram Esh Sharif, is a hill located in the old city of Jerusalem. And so that's what you see, this order, right? This order. So go ahead. Go ahead. That's interesting.
No, it's fascinating. And it said, let's see, in early banking service, okay, the Templars permitted people to deposit money. People could could hold what today is called a current account with the Templars, paying in regular deposits and arranging for the Templars to pay out on behalf of the account holder fixed sums, whoever was nominated. The Templars had become such proficient and trusted bankers that the kings of France and other nobles kept their treasures with the order. Kings and nobles who embarked on crusades to the Holy Land in order to pay their armies on the spot and meet supply needs often forwarded large cash sums to the Templars, which could be withdrawn later at the Levant. The Templars even lent money to rulers and thus became an important element in increasingly sophisticated financial structure of the late medieval Europe.
Okay, so this is an order. This is an order, which is a group of people united in a formal way, which is a fraternal society, like the Masonic order. We see a community under religious rule, especially one requiring members to take solemn vows. This is what they did as of the Knights Templar. Has its roots in the Crusades. This order was originally founded to fight for Christianity, but over time evolved into a satanic order. Over time, the Templars acquired immense power and adopted heretical teachings, right? Rumors circulating about the Templars led to years of investigations revealing that the order was blasphemous. Blasphemous, it means what? That means the act of insulting or showing contempt or lack of reverence for God. The act of claiming the attributes of a deity. Irreverence towards something considered sacred or inviolable. That's what they became. And that it performed black magic. They performed black magic. And that's very important because I want to spend a little bit of time on these words about black magic and form a foundation of where they got their source of power. Go ahead, my brother.
Yeah, it said the Knights Templar established 1119 CE and given papal recognition in 1129 was a Catholic medieval military order whose members combined martial prowess with a monastic life for the purpose of defending Christian holy sites to pilgrims in the Middle East and elsewhere. The Knights, with their headquarters at Jerusalem and then Acre, were an important and elite element of crusade armies, and they became to control both castles and lands in the Levant and across Europe. Accused of heresy, corruption, and performing forbidden practices, the order was attacked by France, King Philip IV.
Okay, all right.
On Friday the 13th.
Oh, really? Friday the 13th?
October, yeah. Friday the 13th, 1307.
1307, okay.
Officially disbanded by Pope Clement V.
Okay, so they got a little bit too big for their britches,
Yep.
And they were doing some really bad stuff. But it's very important to understand that this location, this Templar, this temple, where they derived their power was supernatural. And that's important. We want to look at things through the lens of the Bible, always. And so that it performed black magic. Now, I just want to spend a little bit of time on the word black. The word black. I notice I'm reminded of a verse in Genesis 1, verse 2, talking about darkness or black is characterized by the absence of light. Genesis 1, verse 3. A black night, reflecting little or no light, right? Black water, thoroughly sinister or evil. So black also is representing of thoroughly sinister or evil, wicked, right?
It's also an achromatic color without hue, like white or gray. It's often symbolically and figuratively to represent darkness.
Darkness, right.
Yeah.
And you notice a lot of bad things happen in the darkness, you know. And you notice that there is a distinction very early with the first 3 verses of Genesis chapter 1 between light and dark, right? Light and night. So you see this, that Jesus Christ is the light in Genesis 1, verse 3. And he separated the day from the night. So that's important. So we see that this black, the black is indicative of condemnation or discredit, connected or evoking the supernatural and especially the devil or magic, right? Black magic is what we see. Black magic going on. So that's what we see, characterized by hostility or angry discontent, sullen, of propaganda. That's what you see under the term black. So we're just beginning learning about the Knights Templar, but the Knights Templar derived their power. Their source of power was the black magic, the black arts, the black craft that allowed them to gain their power. And guess what? They're still in operation today. So come to the Lord Jesus Christ. Thank you. Bye.